are back again with the Spirit Wolves F1 racing team right here on Shaw TV. Team, I'm going to get you to give us your names and what you do on the team. I know by now I should know this. This is the third one, but I got to be honest. I've been on a bad run of messing up people's names and things like this. So I'm just going to throw it to you. Name and what you did on the team.
I'm Fotis. I am our manufacturing engineer and our sponsorship representative.
Ashtosh, I'm the team manager.
I'm Madison. I am the marketing and design
person.
I'm Miles, the design engineer.
Let's cut right to the chase. You guys were just down in Texas for how long? 5 days?
Yeah.
5 sweet days in Texas at the F1 competition. And how'd you do?
We did great. We placed 6th out of 20th, and we won the most scrutineered award.
And you won the Scrutineer Award. That means absolutely nothing to me. So, Madison, tell us, what's that award all about?
It is from having the least mistakes on our car, but I can't tell you about that because I'm not part of making the car.
Okay, who can tell me? Here we go.
So it basically means that our car followed the most rules, because when we make our car, we have to follow a set of specifications, and we followed them the most. And when they scrutineered our car, they found that ours was the best out of all of them in that aspect.
That's pretty amazing. And I know you had to do, we talked about it a little bit on the last show, that not really a last minute, but you had to fix the wing on the tail, right? Or to make this a little bit smaller?
Yeah, we had to fix up our front wing, and then when we got there, one of our tires was too small, and the space between our wheel and our back was too small. So I had to sand that down and glue on a new wheel.
Like on the fly in the hotel room?
No, this was at the competition. They called us 10 minutes before opening ceremony, and they told us, you have these 2 critical errors. You have 10 minutes. Fix them. So me and Miles worked, and we fixed those.
Wow. Obviously, it paid off if you did so well. It is still a race, so how did the car do in the race?
For the times itself, you'd have to ask Miles Stilley, because I'm pretty sure he knows those, but we had, if I'm right, the 10th fastest car.
Yeah.
It was not one of the fastest, but because of the such little amount of errors with it, we got such high placing.
So even though your car was 10th, you came in 6th overall. Just for the nerds out there, for the stats people, what were the times for the car?
I don't know them.
I believe one of them was 1.2, but our fastest was 1.1.
1.2 and 1.1. And how fast were the fastest cars? Do you remember? Were you close? Or was it just like thousandth of a second, or did you get creamed by the other cars?
So 1.1 would have been like without reaction time, but with reaction time, we did 1.6, and other teams were doing like 1.1 with reaction time. Yeah, so.
So our takeaway from this is we got to get better at reaction time.
Yes.
A little bit of practice. And who's the trigger person on the team?
Miles.
Miles? guess what you're doing all winter?
Reaction time.
Is there any way to practice? Like, did you talk to some of the other teams and find a way to practice doing that?
Well, we have a track, so we can practice with the track, but no, not really.
Either you got it or you don't. How many, just before we get off of that topic, how many practice runs do you think you did? Like, could you have done a whole weekend of just shot after shot after shot?
No, I think we did enough testing. It was more about the car design itself, because most of the other cars were more sleeker than ours. So it was mainly on that.
It was design that kind of dragged you down a little bit. Any other takeaways from some of the other teams? Madison, we were talking, you met some people from Mexico, right?
Yeah, we met a whole bunch of teams from other places. The Mexican team was super nice to us, and they were just laughing, having fun. Like, they didn't really care that their car didn't follow the rules. They were just there to have fun and had the experience. There were also other teams that were more like, okay, we want to win this. We're for business. But they were still super nice to us. Yeah.
And did you guys feel like you learned anything from the other teams? Like, I mean, getting to meet them is so great, and I'm sure that was a huge part of the competition. But was there some time when you kind of geeked out and started talking about specs on the cars or anything like that?
Yeah, so we talked to a bunch of other cars about their wings and how they built theirs. One of the teams did a really cool thing. Their axle was actually from a 3D pen, like a 3D printing pen. They just took the filament from that and made it their axle.
You going to swipe that idea and do it next year?
Possibly.
Just might happen. Any other takeaways from the other teams? Were there things that you kind of learned, you came back thinking, holy cow, never thought of that?
A lot of the things about the pit display and setup, we have seen a lot of new things, which are ideas we could incorporate to next year's pit display if we do go again.
And are we thinking about going again? What's the feeling on the team? Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Yeah, okay, that's a pretty glowing endorsement, I'd say. The pit display, I know that was a big part of it too. You had that super cool, the wooden thing with the Spirit Wolf on it. How did the pit display look compared to everybody else?
So the other teams had really simple pit displays that just showed the brass tacks of their teams. Ours was a little more, a lot more specific. We had points and lots of stuff on it, lots of information on ours. So we could next year maybe make it a little more simple.
Sometimes less is more. Just before we let you go, this was a big trip. You went all the way to Texas. You were gone for 5 days. You weren't just at the F1 racing the whole time. Did you get to the steakhouse?
We did go to the steakhouse, and I ordered it.
And was it great?
Yeah, it was really good.
I like it. I think Dave, your chaperone, your coach, was saying there was a bit of a reception too, where you met some of the other teams and some of the other mentors and things like that. What did that look like?
So that was at the end of the weekend, and it was like a banquet, and that's when we did all the awards, and everyone just sat at separate tables, but at the end we all got up and we talked to each other. The food was delicious. Let's just put that out there.
What did they serve you in Texas at a little mixer?
Steak.
What? Of course, you were in Texas and you got 600 feet away from an awesome concert, but couldn't slide in.
Yeah, it was kind of sad, but we could still hear it loud and clear, the Post Malone concert. Yeah, everyone was rocking out after the banquet.
Pretty big deal. That'd be pretty good. Other memorable things that happened when you were down there outside of the F1 racing?
Probably going go-karting. So they have a go-karting track there and just racing on that.
And who's the fastest on the team?
Mr. Cotwell.
Second place of 15.
Who was second?
This guy. I have 15 racers.
Guess who got last?
Oh, Fotis?
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. How'd you make out? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was really fun. I got 8th
I got 7th.
by like a tiny bit.
Not bad. 14 and 15. Not aggressive enough? Was that the problem, or did you bad cars?
Bad cars.
And maybe your turns. Last one. Tell us the story. You almost didn't make it back to Canada, right? Or was it not into the States that you couldn't go? Had a little mix-up with border security.
So on the way back, because of the way they are and how strict the border services can be, on the way back, the chaperone that I was traveling with, who is my guardian, because we do not have the same last name, and they said that, and we said that she was my mother and I was her son, that we were traveling together, they pulled us over because they thought it was something like a kidnapping and stuff, because apparently that happens.
Holy man, detained at the border. That would have been something if you didn't even make it. We all gave the thumbs up for when we're going to do this again. I think having the coach on side for doing it again, do we get a thumbs up from you too? F1 next time, is it always in Texas or is it somewhere else next year? Do you know?
I'm pretty sure it's always in Texas. Yeah.
Back there. So if that's what's going to happen, when do we start working on a new car and everything else? Are we taking the summer off to go swimming at Paint, or do we start right away?
I would have to say I have to go swimming.
Yeah, let's wait until next school year.
Swimming, and then next school year. If you're not swimming, Madison's going to be swimming probably with me, right next door at Paint Lake. What do you guys got planned for the summer?
So I'm doing a Power Pilot scholarship with cadets over the summer.
How cool is that? It's gliders, or you're actually flying planes?
Actually flying planes.
Okay. Are you going to be more aggressive than you were in a go-kart?
Yes. Yes.
You won't be 14 out of 15. Fotis, what's up for the summer?
Just go to Greece for a month and relax.
Just go to Greece,
Greece, no
okay,
big
or
deal.
Paint Lake. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
whatever works for you.
I'm going over to the East Coast with my family.
All right, but Paint Lake's still cool,
Yeah.
right? Okay. The F1 racing team, the Spirit Wolves, can't wait to talk to you guys next year to see your new car, your new shirts, and a better placing in Texas. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.